Hey man, welcome to the club. We are back with some Dokkan, and if you have been playing since last night, you probably know that a brand new, very difficult battle has come and gone at this point. We have the celebration of the festival tags here. I did not get to 50, but if I'm honest, and I mean this like no bullshit, I was kind of just playing Balatro while I like sort of just like mindlessly tapped through these, and then I just got killed. And we could see here that I can't even remember like the segments this is. Essentially, I just wanted my I'm gonna be honest, I just wanted my stones. You can see here I got 2116 stones now, but we can go to the event and just check in on what I'm talking about here, and then we'll talk about like how people are feeling about the event. And if you are still listening at this point, how are you feeling about the event? How far did you get? Because that is very important, of course. So we can see here, go to the missions, and yeah, I stopped short of 45, I guess, or maybe I was on 45. We'll actually go look at the bosses in a second just to confirm, but you can see I got all the stones here. If I was going to say something, and please listen to me when I say this, this is not one of those events for the average free-to-play person. I will say that, you know, while I would consider myself I'm closer to free-to-play than I'm not, right? I spend $8 on the subscription pack. I say that all the time because I want to be transparent with people. I want people to know that, hey, even though it's not fully free to play, I'm still down there with you. I'm saving. You know, none of these stones came from purchasing. You know, none of these stones came from purchasing them with stone packs. You know what I mean? It came from like waiting. So if you think Dokkan's dry because you can't summon, I think Dokkan's dry because I can't summon, and I'm sitting here waiting like you. So yeah, we can see 2 million power level worth of, you know, just kind of waiting around, you know, doing my thing. But let's switch over to the actual event and talk about how good we think the event is and if we should rank characters based on it. So let's switch over then. And here we are at the area that I died at. Again, I remember killing this Goku, and I remember killing this guy. So maybe I died to Vegeta, or Vegito rather, and that was where mine ended. But like I said, I was mostly playing Balatro and watching Truth stream. I was not like sitting there grinding it out. If you're wondering what team I used, I also used Truth's team. I used the Vegito lead with the Gogeta on, the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta on, the Super Saiyan 4 Goku, the Namek Goku was very strong, and I think there was one more character who is just slipping my mind right now, but just another stacking character, right? So, you know, nothing really unique. I wasn't really using items. Like I said, I didn't really expect to get to 50, nor do I really care about titles. That's something for other people, for challenge players. It's not really for me. I just wanted my stones, and then, you know, I was 25 stages in. I was like, well, I might as well just keep going until I die. So will I be ranking characters on this? I'm going to tentatively say no. And why is that? It's because ranking characters on that stage creates a false dichotomy. The false dichotomy is essentially that we assume that because that stage exists, we're going to be getting regular additions to content that look like that stage, and I don't think they are. To me, that challenge stage is what it is, which is that, and this is something I want to talk about with in regards to other types of games, which is that a lot of games like Epic 7 have something called a tower. The JJK game has a tower. HSR and Genshin, I imagine, probably have towers. I imagine ZZZ has a tower. It's just an easy way for PvE content to scale really high up and for them to add to it later. In this case, Dokkan's tower isn't a like separate stages that just get harder and harder. It's that, you know, go up to like 50. But instead it's one massive like tower just itself. And while some characters are very good in tower formats, a lot of characters just aren't designed for it. And if you're not and while I think there will be a character who's simply just released to beat that mode in the coming weeks or months, I don't really look at it as if like, oh, they're trying to build the entire identity around Dokkan around like this 24 million super. I just don't think so. This will change if they show me that, but until they do, this is gonna stay where this is. I'm not just gonna like put Namek Goku up here because he's like the actually like the best character in the stage, right? It just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I wouldn't really worry about anyone baiting for tier lists for this mode. You know the team that's good, and it's the team you'd expect. You know what I mean? It's not a fun, interesting team. It's all of the best characters thrown on the team who stack, and you just swap them around kind of idly, right? Don't really worry about that. But I guess we can get into the, closing point, which is how are people feeling about this stage, right? And for that, we will head over to Dokkan Twitter, where Mr. Truth says, you know how I know Dokkan cooked? I'm seeing waves of crying tweets, crying on Reddit, calls for Omatsu to be fired. I salute Omatsu and Ken. Getting everyone this riled up, it means a masterclass meal has just been cooked. Of course, Truth posted his like 3 videos with like the I'm losing it thumbnail, which is, you know, peak cinema. I only really watched the initial stream. I wasn't too interested in watching it happen again, but we'll see how people feel about this. How do I feel about this? Listen, I am always down for content to be shifted. I think the thing about Dokkan is that the player base kind of, and I think I've cultivated a pretty reasonable group here. I think if you sub to me, I just assume you're pretty reasonable because I don't get on here and bait. I don't come on here and say like this is the worst thing ever, or this is the best thing ever, or this is the, you know, where the sky is falling and it's raining acid and everyone's so sad. I just get on here, I give like a really reasonable take, and then I'll fuck with it. Because of that, I think we're able to have like conversations that are actually interesting instead of just like boohooing for Twitter or Reddit or wherever. And it reminds me of when the Bulma fight was released, which is to say that like a lot of people saw their favorite characters get washed by Bulma and they got really mad, right? And that's fine. The thing is, they rebuffed this fight because it wasn't the standard that they were used to. I don't really think that's the case with this fight because we really just don't have any basis for this fight recurring as a property. They blew essentially all of the crazy assets. They used all of the bosses that like could make good red zones at some point. The first 25 stages or phases of the fight are completely like, I don't know, they're basically sleepers. You don't have to worry about any of this until, look how far down we have to go. You don't have to worry about any of this until this guy. And by then, this is like phase 40 or something, right? Like 40, 44, 45, I don't even know. But it's just to say that like, it's a lot. You know, it's a lot to go through. These runs are taking like 2 hours, 3 hours to beat. And I just don't think it's going to become the standard. So when we talk about like, do I think the fight is like good? Do I think it's fine? I do, as a one-off, of course. You know, I'm someone who calls for fights to be different. I think the Battle Hard and Formidable Foes event is probably the best thing they've added to Dokkan in a while. It's the best form of long content they've done, period, or short content they've done, period, short quotation marks. And even though it can take like upwards of 40 minutes to beat every stage of it, or like every phase of it in the Super Battle Road-esque theme, you feel fulfilled and you don't really feel the slog of pouring across like all of these phases because the characters are actually engaging the entire time. So yeah, do I think it's like some huge flop? No, I don't. Do I think it's like the best content ever made? No. Formidable Battles is better than it, and it counts more than it, and Red Zone counts more than it because we've continued to see that this is what they're building the game around. But let's get into how people are feeling. The biggest flaw of the event isn't the charge counts. I actually think they're a fun challenge. The real issue is the insane damage and having to sit there for 3 hours. 50 stage event for just 25 Dragon Stones is crazy. Okay, well, pause. It is not a 50 stage event for 25 Dragon Stones. It's a 25 easy phase fight for 25 Dragon Stones. Remember that. Like, remember that. You do not have to fight all 50 phases to get those Dragon Stones. I didn't. I literally AFK'd until like phase 40, essentially. Not thinking about it. Watching Truth and playing Balatro. You do not need to do 50 phases for that. You need to do 25 or something like that. And it's the easiest, like, it's the easiest phases. I guess I can see them more. That said, I can't complain about Dragon Stones anymore when Dokkan basically gave us a free LR anniversary character. That was a huge W, so I'm never complaining about Stones again. This is true. If you ever feel shorted by any of the Dragon Stone counts this year, just remember that Dokkan essentially gave you like 2,500 Dragon Stones or some shit with a stone. Only need 11 million more defense. Truth helped. I rely on 70% dodge or guard. I love the new event. Fun as hell. I can't wait to see new units that come out for this event. I'm just going to keep saying it. I think that they are going to add stacking characters, of course. I do not think they're going to put out a ton of new characters so that you can beat this event. Not specifically for it. I don't think that this is going to become the new standardized content. I think that this is a challenge mode. And it would shock me if a gacha decided to like frame its content cycle around a 2.5 hour fight. Looking forward to the update where you have to sit through a 2-hour load screen before every event. People may cry, but that just means Amatsu and Ken cooked. I love sitting through 2 hours of nothing but taking on a fight. It's a real masterclass design. I just think, you know, Rhodey's a very Rhodey's one of those people that we see on Dokkan Twitter who's very explosive in their conduct. I think people need to really, really take in the fact. I'm going to just keep repeating it. I don't think that Amatsu and Ken are looking at this like the new Dokkan direction. I think they're just looking at this like a long-term goal. I don't think Amatsu and Ken are expecting you to spend your entire weekend doing 3-hour runs just to lose. I think this is for whales, if I'm honest. I mean, because all the people that are saying that he was the worst or second worst 10th anniversary, he was awfully designed at the age even before 10th anniversary, and are now using him against the new event. Yeah, I mean, that's fair, but this doesn't really mean anything. It's like cool that this is happening. He's still all of these things. You know what I mean? Well, actually, no, he's not the worst. No, he could never be the worst. Kaoken Goku is. Kaoken Goku's fucking horrible. But he is still all of these things, right? Like, he got a playground, but it's like 0.1% of the actual game, right? And I'm excited because I get to use this character. I said it before, I'm not a hater of this character. This is my favorite moment in the series. They could release 10 more Namek Gokus who go Super Saiyan, and I'm pulling for all of them. But yeah, he's like not a great anniversary unit. Why is people mad? I don't know what that is, bro. We ain't looking at that. This event is like the new gen legendary Goku event. Lots of phases stacking units are required. It's only a matter of time though until broken units drop and annihilate it. Maybe. I don't know. I think we will get more stacking units, and I think because of that, people will go, wow, they're dropping units for this. But I think they were going to drop stacking units anyway because all of the other fights are long. Let's go with this over. My complaint is a lack of rewards. Stage 125 should have give 20%. See, this is the thing. They gave you like 2,500 stones with a free anniversary LR or whatever the number is, right? They don't actually need to do this because they already gave you the rewards. And I know people might feel a type of way about that, but that is what happened. Love the event now. People complain about wasting 2 hours playing an event just to lose and just play better. If you're losing, it means you're doing something wrong. If you call it a waste of time, then what about them scrolling hours and scrolling? I think that the real issue is, and I guess we don't really need to talk about this more. We don't need to do a ton more. But the real issue actually is that when we look at the team here, let's just go through real quick. The real issue that people are running into is that there's essentially like one really obvious team that most players can access. And again, it's why I don't think we'll be seeing a bunch of, oh, it's perfect, it's peak, this is what Dokkan is now. Is because it's Tech Vegito, AGL Gogeta, AGL Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and the gods, the Ors, and Namekoku, who is, where is he? Am I blind? I'm blind. Whatever. And Namekoku. And that's kind of, oh yeah, he's not on Earth protecting because he wasn't on Earth, right? He's a pure Saiyan. And that's the bigger issue, is that, and I have seen it, I've seen people post the other thing, which is like, you go to Pure Saiyans, and the other team I saw is Glorio, and this character, or maybe not this character, but essentially just a Glorio, team, and actually he wouldn't even be on Time Travelers, huh? He would be on Dragon Ball Seeker. There we go. Yeah, essentially it was just a Glorio and friends team. And you'd use like, he stacks infinitely with this in battle, and he's giving a ton of support. I think Minato tried to run this team. If you aren't a whale, or if you haven't been playing for years, the event, getting to 50 in the event, it just feels inaccessible. And I think that's people's actual problem. Not that there's like, it's not that there's like too many options now. You know what I mean? It's not that there's like, it's too much fun. It's that, and it goes back to the tier list thing. I'm not going to rank characters based on this event at all. Period. At all. Never. Nope. Not until they show me that this is what they want the strongest content to be. And it's because while people are sitting around thinking, oh, you can use any stacking character now and they're all good, in reality, we're still kind of operating within the binary, and we're going to see a lot of the same teams clearing this, because it's just like untenable to get to that 40 stage, 45 stage, 50 stage, and just get blasted away because you don't have Vegito, because you don't have Veku, because you don't have Gogeta, because you don't have, the gods who are countering the super and things like that. But all that says is going to do it for me. Like if you like the video, subscribe to join the club. We all gonna make it, and of course, peace.